One. Can you see my screen at all?
I can see your screen. Yeah.
Gotcha. Hold on a second.
Purpose. No one can create your purpose for you. No one can tell you who to be. So in purpose, you have to create your own purpose. And in evolution, you have to evolve towards that purpose. It's easier to live when you have goals to meet. You understand? If you have goals to meet, then you don't feel so voided, and you understand why every day you're looking at this person in the mirror, because that is the cool part about the game. You get to be anybody you want to be.
I still get if I could get out of here. Hold on a second. Play it one more time. Then.
Okay.
Purpose. No one can create your purpose for you. No one can tell you who to be. So in purpose, you have to create your own purpose. And in evolution, you have to evolve towards that purpose. It's
I don't think
easier
so.
to live when you have goals to meet. You understand? If you have goals to meet, then you don't feel so voided, and you understand why every day you're looking at this person in the mirror, because that is the cool part about the game. You get to be anybody you want to be.
All right. So now we should be good. I think. Let's see.
There you are.
Hold on. Let me see if I don't think I'm still sharing the screen. I don't think so. Let me see. No, I'm out. So again, this is Brandon B. Dixon. Let's start the show. This is the Power of Ownership podcast. Um, I got Steven Contreras here as well.
Hey guys, how are you doing?
Let's start off the show with a brief introduction. My name is Brandon B. Dixon. I'm a published author, serial entrepreneur, mortgage broker, community activist, so on and so forth. The Power of Ownership podcast, we talk about um, ownership of businesses, properties, intellectual properties. Also, it evoluted to owning the mind, body, and the soul. So it's evoluted to the seen and unseen realm, bridging the gap. My book, again, I always got to plug this. Sales, the nucleus of any profession. Let me get a close up on that. Sales, the nucleus of any profession, out right now. So selling quite well. Starting to pick up traction in Europe now. So
Oh, that's pretty cool.
yeah, so
Yeah.
starting to sell a few, mainly digital copies, not too many hard copies. So I guess starting to spread. But I'll let Steven go ahead and introduce himself, and let's just get right to it.
Yeah, Steven Contreras here, a geologist in Houston, Texas. Study of the arts and sciences. Kind of like just keep on trying to live my life one foot at a time, trying to help as many people as I can. Trying to spread the word of truth and good luck.
Right. This episode, I wanted to talk about something that's kind of been on my mind this week. Um, and I wanted to talk about like the competitive spirit, competition. The what's the better word for it?
Human nature.
I don't know if it's quite human nature. I wonder where competition started off. I guess the question this week would be, you know, what what's the best way to deal with competition, and what's the how do you make it? How do you keep uh, competition positive and friendly? I'll go ahead and open that up to you, and and let's go from there.
Yeah, I have a wrestling background, right? I think it's the best sport on the planet, and it's one of the oldest sports on the planet. And it's just you and another individual, trying to take each other out. And I think that's just the simplicity of our being itself. Is we have a animalistic nature to ourselves that has the fuel for survival, and that's what I think competition stems off of. Is that fight for being here, fighting for our, I guess, portion of the pie if you want. And I think competition is actually very healthy for human growth and for just overall business models too. Like that's where real innovation is made, is through competition. So competition doesn't always have to be negative. A lot of people turn it to a negative aspect, but some of the best ideas are stemmed through competition, in my opinion.
Right. I mean, just touching a little bit on the metaphysical. I kind of want to go straight to the metaphysical. A lot of people know what competition is. I don't really have to define it for them. I want to kind of hop straight into the metaphysical. It's really you outdoing yourself. It's really you calling, for that push, that that necessary. I want to say stretch for you to outdo yourself. And you kind of summons your own competition into being, and that helps you grow and it helps you exceed your own expectations. Because think about it, if you were comfortable and everything you did was comfortable to you, a lot of the great stuff would never have gotten done. A lot of great stuff would not gotten invented. So it actually, yeah, it helps you in a sense to push yourself and be the best that you could be, maximize your potential. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I would agree. Like that's how you have to do it. Always competing against yourself.
Right.
And then what are we doing right now? It's like almost 10 o'clock at night on a Tuesday. And we're shooting this thing.
Right.
We're always working, always competing.
Right. Well,
No one's
like
gonna
I
do.
said,
No one's gonna do it for you, right?
well, this is one thing that Oprah said, and everybody got the same 24 hours. Why is
True.
Oprah worth 3.2 billion and a lot of people were at zero? I mean, it's the same 24 hours that they have in a day. And I just shared like some this meme with like about 4 or 5 people's story, like Oprah Winfrey, Walt Disney, Colonel Sanders, who's a brother by the way. Colonel Sanders got the recipe turned down 1,009 times. So say if you look at KFC now, it's constantly evoluting. It's constantly changing its menu. It's constantly
It's
trying.
worldwide too.
Right. So the winners, the survivors aren't scared of change. They embrace competition. I do believe what Grant Cardone said is the best competition. On the other hand, just playing devil's advocate, the best competition, no competition, is always good to dominate your space as well. But
Mhm.
you have to have that reminiscence of some type of competition in order to get even better and blow them out of the water.
Yeah, I mean
In a business sense.
that's what David Rockefeller did, right? He started off small, and then he eventually just put this huge model together that he had the vision for like 25, and I mean to current day. They had to actually break up his company because it was too big.
Right, right. Monopolies and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
dominance is like the key. That's what I'm set out to do in the mortgage industry. I'm trying to dominate the industry. Start slowly but surely. I got a long way to go, but just starting, like, this is gonna 2020 is gonna be my third year in the business, but I'm making big strides on getting there. I have a 5-year game plan, but my thing with competition, people, especially in business, always kind of fold under competition. You know, um, Mediocre businessmen. So they either yield the floor or let competitors come in and eat them away. So
Yeah.
the great business people persevere. They let that competitor, that might try to get some of their market share, propel them to get even better and better to eventually blow them out of the water.
Yeah.
Look at Coke and Pepsi. Coke and those are some competitors that push themselves into you know greatness. So the Coke and Pepsi challenge. You don't think they were in cahoots with one another?
Oh yeah. I mean, just like Apple and Facebook and all them, they're always pushing each other.
Right.
And so
So like I said, competition definitely could be a great push for you. I wanted the next question that I had was, do you? There are a lot of probably religious people that kind of watch the show. How would you handle, how would you say, what about praying for competition or praying against competition? That's what a lot of people do. They resort to prayer and they pray.
yeah.
A lot of people, just be honest, you pray for your competitors to do bad and yourself to do well. How do you feel about that paradigm?
I don't agree with it. Like, you get what you give out, right? So if you're praying for demise, then yourself will demise eternally, because that's just an issue with you. I, the only thing I ever pray for is just thanks and gratitude. Just thanks for everything, every moment, every second. And so when people like have the negative energies, like it reciprocates. Like it's like it'll eventually the karma comes back around.
Right. I would definitely piggyback that on that because what happens is, remember, prayer is just strictly meditation. That's just strictly
Mm-hmm.
out loud meditation. And when any type of negative that you program your subconscious, remember you're the oneness. So you're praying against yourself. So
Yep.
I would say, the opposite. Do wish your opponent or wish your competitor the best. That way, that will bring the best out of you.
Yep.
So and like I said, it will never. You gotta trust the process. You will never succumb, or you never. First of all, no business is infallible, but you will never succumb to a competitor if you keep that positive mind frame. If you have a negative mind frame, and that's what we talked about in a previous episode with the haters. The haters just took a 180 instead of like focusing on their perfection or perfecting their craft. They in turn try to block somebody else's. All their energy is focused on trying to prevent you from your goal. And in
Yeah,
turn,
and that's why.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and that's why you should never talk about business practices with people, because like when you try to tell them a good idea, they'll just get jealous, right? So you just keep it close to the chest.
Right. Well, that's a different subject. I mean,
Yeah.
I definitely would suggest that, and I'm guilty of this as well. We talked about this on 48 Laws of Power, like trying to impress people with ideas. You don't need, either they're going to steal it or they're going to put so much negative energy toward it to try to deter you from it.
Yeah, and so yeah, it's real hard to like if there's so much negativity, like the competition, like you're creating your own competition at that point because you're trying to boast, brag, and be envious about your ideas, and which is stemming all from you essentially.
Right. My For those up and coming entrepreneurs, I would say just do it. Don't just like the music industry's become nowadays. Don't talk about your ideas or how big you're gonna do it. Show people, and then people gonna start taking you serious as far as music.
Hmm.
Don't hey, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. Just show people. Just do it. Just that's kind of what I do with a lot of stuff. I tell people certain ideas or what I'm gonna do, but a lot of business ideas I don't. I just do it. I just pop up with it. Because what happens is, by the time they formulate a game plan against it, or by the time they put in any negative spin on it, I'm already halfway there. It's too late. The momentum's too late to try to slow it down.
Yeah, exactly, and it is competition.
Right.
It's that survival mode, especially with just unawake or unconscious individuals. They don't know they're doing it. It's a subconscious thing.
Right. The last question, again, I'm not going to stay too long on this one. I had was, how do you, uh, let's say, resurrect a dying business? I mean, like a business that is not producing like it should. How do you resurrect a dying business?
I mean, it comes down to your employees, right? And like you have to have that one person who's willing to change everything, you know? Like if it's dying, you have to figure out what the reason is for dying, and then try to piggyback off of other new fresh blood. I guess is the saying is like you might get new people in there with new creative ideas, and hopefully you'll be able to find yourself someone who can like spark the magic for you.
Well, my thing is this: like I said in the earlier shows, your business will never outgrow you. So if it's dying, always look in the mirror. Something's happening with yourself that you're not either adapting to the current market, or you're not fully doing all that you can to make yourself relevant. And it always starts with marketing. Um, a lot of people think like marketing is a passive thing. I talked about this in my blog today. And marketing is like everything. In any type of business, you have to market. Again, my mentor always said, Mattress Mac, marketing is like bathing. You have to do it every day, or you can tell. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're not marketing every day, and if you're not aggressively marketing, you're not making yourself relevant in the marketplace. That's what all marketing is. You're creating a market for yourself. Then, of course, your business is subject to fail. Of course, there's other aspects as well, like getting sued, and you're not passing certain inspections, if health inspections, if you're in a restaurant or something to that effect. That's stuff that you need to that's just bad management. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
people want to be absentee owners and hands off owners, and that doesn't happen in most businesses. A lot of it's sad to say, like most people, and I had to realize this later on in life, in my early 30s, that nobody will work as hard for your dream as you will. So
True.
even if you put a manager in charge and give them all the money in the world, they're still not going to take it as serious as you will. You know, and
Yep.
and that's the thing. Also, I wanted to say this: a lot of people, and it's the flip side too. A lot of people, I used to say this all the time. A lot of people want to be Vince McMahon. Since you were talking about wrestling earlier, but nobody wants to.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be.
That's a that's a fake wrestling, but
Right,
it's okay. I'll forgive you.
right. So nobody wants to be Hulk Hogan. Everybody wants to be Vince McMahon, the check writer, but they don't realize that Hulk Hogan makes just a lot of money as well. You know, but nobody wants. Everybody wants to be Vince McMahon, but they don't want Vince McMahon responsibilities.
Yeah.
So it's
It takes legwork, you know. Like you said, you got market. There's a reason why the 1% is the 1% because they put the work in.
right. I mean, and everybody want to eat like I eat, or eat the same portions, but you don't put in the you don't put in the work.
Yep.
It's crazy. So it,
18-hour days, you
it,
know.
it just is what it is. A lot of people. We say this all the time. I used to say this all the time in my syllabus in my class is that you have a W-2 mentality. You want to be a CEO, and there is no off days. This grind doesn't come with shifts. It's
Yep.
it's 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 a constant grind until you decide to not grind anymore. So your biggest competition, to sum this all up, when your business is failing, at that time, your competition is yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So you're competing against yourself to keep yourself afloat. So again, it's always yourself. You always go back to yourself. It's yourself. So that's the biggest competition. It's you versus you. Um,
Yep.
any last, again, we're not gonna keep this. Gonna be a quick show. Any last thoughts before we wrap it up?
Just remember, nature is competition. You know, we're here to be building ourselves up, and there's always going to be competition, and it's what makes the world go round. If there wasn't competition, it'd be pretty boring, in my opinion. So,
Right. I mean, like I said, it is, an animalistic thing, the ego. survival mechanism. There are people that even in the herd compete, against one another. Silverback gorillas, compete for to be the alpha male and all this stuff. They have the women and I mean the female apes or whatever. So it's in the nature's thread. So you can't escape it, even in a business or a technological field. It's still going to be there. So the main thing is embrace it, but embrace it with positivity.
Yep,
Look,
always.
yeah, look at it as a bettering of yourself and stretching yourself to the limit, as opposed and don't get caught up in the hate. Don't get caught up and try to, um, um, stop your competitors' progress. Let them do them to the fullest. And again, don't even the energy that you put into it, that's going to make them more and more relevant. That should make that should make you focus on your business more. Don't focus on theirs. Just be the best that you can be. Um, with that, I'm gonna go ahead. Steve, tell them where they can find you. We're gonna go ahead and
Uh,
wrap this up.
yeah, Stephen Contreras on Facebook, Stephen Contreras 90. I have a few projects in the works too. You'll be hearing more from me. So, yeah, thanks.
Gotcha. Again, at Billionaire Loan Officer, I want y'all to like, subscribe. Again, it's October 1st, so starting today until October 31st, if you subscribe to the subscribe to the YouTube channel. Um, once we get over 1,000 subscribers, we're gonna give away a 50-inch TV. 50-inch big screen TV. So, also with that, I'm gonna give you a free copy of Sales: The Nucleus of Any Profession. If you have this already, if you're a fan of the show, I will give you a free copy of the new upcoming book that will be dropping the first quarter of 2020. So either way. So you'll get two prizes: a big screen TV and a copy of my book, autographed copy.
Sweet.
So subscribe. We need to get over 1,000 subscribers this month. So this is the month that's going to happen. So that way we can monetize the channel, so on and so forth. So far we've been practicing, but we getting pretty good traction. I mean, everywhere in the a lot of places in the city. Hey, the podcast guys. So I mean, it's doing kind of what it's doing. It's still small scale, but we're gathering a following.
Mhm.
Again, if you want a mortgage, www.hocmortgage.com is refi time. Get your refi money, pull that equity out of the house. If you want to have a good Christmas or whatever, or now just you want to take advantage of the record low rates that we have. What else I got? I got the Six Figure Sales Success, the webinar coming out real soon. The book coming out the first quarter of next year, so on and so forth. www.billionaireloanofficer.com. If you want to book me for a speech or sales training, go to that as well. With that, I'm going to say God is a verb and personal responsibility is your only savior. With that, I'm going to say peace.
Yeah, peace. See you guys later.
I think that stopped at home.